Okay, so now we're going to talk about factoring by splitting the middle. When we were doing factors of trinomials, our x squared was by itself, and we found a product and sum. We're doing almost the exact same thing. It's just that our product is going to be different when we have a number in front of it. When you have a number in front, your product is 4 times 6. So 4 times 6 is 24. And then my sum still is the middle term. It's 11. And that was written wrong. Should have been sum and 11. So now I'm doing the exact same thing. I need two numbers that are going to give me a product of 24 and a sum of 11. So let's look at 6 times 4. That will give me 10, so that won't work. How about 8 times 3? That does give me 11. So that's my two numbers. But this is where it gets different because we're calling this splitting the middle, which means we rewrite the middle term with these two numbers. So your first number stays the same, plus, and then I'm going to take 11x, and instead of writing 11x, I'm going to write it as 8x plus 3x. And then my last term comes together. So now I'm going to group them and factor by grouping. So that means that these two go together and these two go together. And I'm going to see what can I pull out of 4x squared and 8x. A 4 and an x. Remember, I'm basically dividing, so that gives me x plus 2. Here, what am I going to pull out of 3x and 6? A 3, leaving me with x plus 2. Now don't force it. If these don't match, you've done something wrong. But a lot of people will force it and they'll get these wrong because it should be a minus or something like that. So always take each one separately. Now, like we did previously, this is something I can factor out of both terms. And then what's left over? My 4x plus 3. And remember, it doesn't matter which way you write it. This is the same thing as 4x plus 3 times x plus 2. Now, this is going to take practice. Practice, practice, practice. Let's try one with a negative. Now, most people don't do it this way, showing the product and sum like this. This is just the way I've always done it. So my product is 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8, and my sum is 7. What's going to give me a product of negative 8 and a sum of 7? So that would be, I know it's going to be 8 and 1. My 1 needs to be negative so that this is positive. So then I split my middle. 2x squared. Now, it doesn't matter whether you put 8x and 1 minus 1x or negative 1x plus 8x here. Some numbers go better with other numbers, but it doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer either way. So I'm going to go ahead and put this as minus 1x plus 8x minus 4 because I think 8x and 4 go better together. Then I'm going to group them. I can factor out an x here, leaving me with 2x minus 1. And I can factor out a 4 here, leaving me with 2x minus 1. That's my common factor. And x, and that's a plus 4, by the way, is what's left. And that's my answer. Let's try another one. So I've got 5x squared minus 29x minus 6. Product. I keep writing this backwards. Product. Sum. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. and negative 29. So I know this is going to be 1 and 30. And which one's going to be negative? The 30. So that this is a negative 29. So now I've got 5x squared plus 1x minus 30x minus 6. And this one's a little tricky, and let me tell you why. When I group these two together, I'm taking out an x here, leaving me with 5x plus 1. Here, this is a minus, and this is a minus, but they need to both be positive. So when I pull out my number, I'm actually pulling out a negative 6. And that's going to give me a positive 5x plus 1. Because negative 30 divided by negative 6 is 5. Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is a positive 1. Now I can pull out my 5x plus 1, and I'm left with x minus 6.